Jim A10 Miller versus NIKOLAS MOTTA. AJ, brother, this is going to be a fun one, man. And I feel a little bit bad for Jim Miller, even though this is the name of the game, especially when we have been talking recently about if you're an OG and you want to stick around, well, you have no choice but to fight the up-and-comers. You have to keep your spot in the UFC. Now, he's ranked about number 30, nowhere really near the top 15. NIKOLAS MOTTA, because he hasn't had a real fight in the UFC yet, non-ranked so far. But how the hell is my man a minus 175 favorite with the plus 150 comeback for Jim Miller? That's the thing that really surprises me in this fight, AJ. Like, Jim Miller at this point, I'm like, odds makers are giving the man no respect whatsoever. I could see the look on your face. And for those who are listening, my man AJ, he's wide-eyed. He's looking in a state of disbelief. And I agree with you, my man, but we need to talk it out. Just tell me your thoughts on this whole entire process, because it seems like this is a little bit of like, oh, what the hell is happening here?
They're doing my boy A10 dirty, bro. What the hell? I had that look on my face because I didn't read the odds until you actually said it. I was in my own world thinking over here, and you said that NIKOLAS Motta is the favorite, 175 to 150. What the hell are they doing? What are they seeing? I mean, don't get me wrong, Motta is an amazing fighter. He's really, really good, but going up against a scrappy vet like A10 Jim Miller, unless they're seeing something that like I said, behind the scenes, it's in the training camp. I'm kind of at a flabbergasted, at a loss for words over here, Derek. Sure, NIKOLAS Motta, he's young, he's powerful, great combos in the pocket, always down for a firefight. But I think he's outclassed right here, man. And I could be proven wrong. I've been proven wrong before. A10 Jim Miller is the real deal, though, man. This is one of those litmus tests fights that we like to talk about, where Motta can get past A10 Jim Miller, then sure, he's made it. But I mean, it's going to be a very hard, long roll to toll over here. Jim Miller's gritty, man. Jim Miller's a vet. I'm blown away that he's not the favorite in this one.
Well, so let me ask you this stylistically, right? Jim Miller, obviously, he has a propensity for taking people down. That's kind of the name of the game, right? 1.64 takedowns per 15 minutes at a 43% clip. Nice. 2.7 significant strikes. It's pretty much on par with Motta, 2.8 for Motta. 41% accuracy as opposed to 27% accuracy. That's the big takeaway that I have here. When you watch Motta's, even his last fight in the Dana White's Contender Series, right? Not the highest level, not the highest skill level of opponent, right? But either way, he got a very gritty win against a tough opponent. And I want to talk about Motta. One of his styles is he has that tight guard. He's walking you down. He doesn't mind going on the back just to come back, but he'll use your pressure against you. He'll wait until you start throwing, open up, and he'll hit you with 4 shots in a row, brother. Like, it's beautiful. His counter-striking is impeccable. I love to see it. It's chef's kiss. I love it, right? However, AJ, this is the big thing. If Motta is going to sit here and he's going to fire away 1, 2, 3, 4 big hooks, chin high up in the air, I'm not even as worried about Miller dropping a bomb on Motta like he did against Eric Gonzalez in his last fight. I'm more concerned with Motta leaving himself exposed, right for the takedown, and Jim Miller does what he does best. When he got hurt against Eric Gonzalez in his last fight, and he's done it a million other times before, what did he do? He instantly said, wrestler IQ, we're shooting for the legs, I'm taking you down, we're not doing this, buddy. And that's the problem there. Now, Motta has no wins by submission in yet, right? You know what I mean? In the UFC, obviously, he has no wins in the UFC whatsoever. But when we're taking just a look at it overall, my man, it's not like NIKOLAS Motta, he's 12-3. It's not like he's an inexperienced fighter, my man. 8 knockouts, 5 decisions. So yes, no submission wins yet. Jim Miller, on the other hand, I mean, listen, the majority of his wins have come via submission. So it's like you got the ground game fighter versus the dangerous striker. I just don't really necessarily see a world, AJ, where NIKOLAS Motta just completely outclasses Jim Miller unless he gets an early finish. Now, my man does have 2 losses via knockout and 2 losses via submission. Never lost a decision yet in his young career. Do you think Jim Miller can hand him his first decision loss, or do you see a finish upcoming? Or are you just flipping it completely and saying, nah, Motta could win this fight, even though we said what we said earlier to start this off? What do you think?
No, I think Jim Miller can easily hand NIKOLAS Motta that first decision loss. I agree with you, man. Motta has these amazing combos. He can hit you with 4, 5, 6 that are all very powerful and all very fast. But the thing is, when you're overextending, maybe not even overextending, you're just extending your punches like you're supposed to, and you have that forward foot pressure, then Jim Miller, that's an easy takedown, man. They just duck right underneath, get to those hips, and take you down, and that's Jim Miller's game. And I easily think that Jim Miller can get this done round after round after round and work and really grind his way out to a decision and show the young buck that this isn't just, a quick flash in the pan kind of fight. He's going to be here for quite a while, sitting there drowning in those bloody waters like we like to see. And I think that's Jim Miller's best path to victory. Don't get me wrong though, he can easily not, or maybe not easily, but he can knock out, a lot of people. And if he can get the knockout on Motta with that big left hand, get Motta thinking about those calf kicks, and then land a bomb with that left, it can happen, man. It can easily happen, but I think Motta might have the power advantage and the speed advantage, at least on the hands for this one. But once the ground game gets going, all that is out the door. All of that is negated, and we're able to see Jim Miller go to work like we have been. And I think he gets it done by decision, man. What about you?
Well, that's pretty much my assessment of this fight. If Jim Miller can stay away from the power and survive the power in the first round, I think he could win this fight, especially if Motta has to really open up to be able to finish Miller. Now, let's not forget, Motta could stand right in front of you and drop a head kick on your dome piece. You know what I mean? He has great dexterity in the hips and the legs. But like I'm saying, Jim Miller, it's like the same fight against Eric Gonzalez. Eric Gonzalez is arguably a more scary striker if you're really thinking about it, man, because he's dropping people left and right. But I really like the prospect of NIKOLAS MOTTA, even though he got his UFC shot after a decision win on the Dana White's Contender Series, which is pretty rare. I think this is dude, he's going to be a stud in the future. But against Jim Miller in your UFC debut, AJ, that's just throwing him out to the wolves, man. It's not ideally, I think, how you would want to build up a prospect if you're a matchmaker, but you got to give Jim Miller somebody, right? And I think this is it. So who do you got in this one? How is it happening? And the over and under is 2.5 rounds. So where are you going on that?
I'm taking the over, Derek, and I'm sticking with my boy A10 Jim Miller, and I'm going by decision. I think he's just going to take the veteran, the wily veteran round and do what he needs to do to get this dub and secure more and more of his legacy going forward. What about you? Who are you going?
I'm rocking with you as well, man. Jim Miller, I think he gets it done via decision. I think that he breaks that record we were talking about earlier for most all-time wins in the UFC. Not all-time fights, but all-time wins with 23, and he already has the all-time fights record at 38. He will be pushing it to 39. We'll have two more fights than anybody else in the UFC. But AJ, man, we can be proven wrong in this matchup. Like, Motta can win this fight. It's not like he can't. My last question before we move on, because we're both rocking with Jim Miller, we're both rocking with the over. How much money would you throw on Jim Miller as a live dog? You know what I mean? If you're advising the good folks at home, just like, because to me, I have to put money on this. I can't not put money on this, especially because when I was looking at the live odds right now, because all of these odds, folks, for discretion, I say it every time, these are opening odds, right? The odds are pushed a little higher, minus 180 for Motta, plus 155 for Miller. So what do you think?
Oh man, you at least put a hundy down on Jim Miller, man. Look for that plus money comeback. That's I imagine it might get a little bit more skewed than that, but that's a very much a live dog out there.
Yeah, this is, to me, the biggest live dog on the card. If you're not throwing at least a little something, even let's say you don't want to throw 100, maybe your bankroll's a little tight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you want to throw $15, $20 on it. You're still gonna make some nice cash on Jim Miller right there. So I will just say that